Hey, I'm back with another tutorial on the Adult Piano Adventures. We're on to Unit 15 now. We're getting into G major. So the G major scale is very similar to the C major scale in the way it's put together. We have the same whole step, half step combination of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And I also have another video just entirely dedicated to just getting to play the G major scale a little bit better. In every scale, each of the scale degrees has a name. Let's start with of course, G major scale. And so with G major, we start with the tonic. Tonic is the first note of the scale. It's not always going to be G. It's always going to be G if we're in G major or G minor. Then there are names for all of them, but we're only going to go over 3 of them for right now. The 5th note of the scale is called the dominant. And then the 7th note is called the leading tone. It's the note that leads up to the tonic again. Let's go over the G scale warm-up for each of the hands. It starts with the thumb here, and when we get to the cross under of the thumb, just remember your thumb does most of the work here. Don't do any big arm motions to do this. You do want to keep your arm and your wrist loose, but we don't want to see this. Okay? Let's try this warm-up. 1, 2, ready, go. Then repeat. Then the left hand is going to essentially do the same thing in reverse. Ready, go. One more time. Notice that on the way up, that as I'm crossing over, I'm also not doing any big arm motions. I don't have to do this to get my finger over here. Most of the motion is going to happen in the thumb here. So if you want to practice this, just place your thumb on any note you like. And just move your thumb back and forth, move your thumb joint back and forth, and allow your hand to move back and forth while holding that very lightly down. You don't have to push really hard. If you push too hard, it's going to be really hard to move that joint. Let's go to the key of G roadmap. This talks about the tonic and dominant, and then up to the leading tone also. Just uses the right hand. Ready, go. Back to the tonic. Do it one more time. Now notice as I'm playing these staccatos, I'm playing them up instead of down. This is not an attack, it's a release of the note. Now to the 1 octave G major scale. Something they recommend, and I do also, is to use the metronome. They start at 88 and do 88, 112, and 144. What I would recommend is, if you're using a digital metronome or a built-in metronome, let's start at an even number. If you're using an old school metronome like this, then by all means start at 88. But if you do start at 88, don't skip any of the notches. You do all of the notches. This will actually allow you to become more efficient with the scale rather than going straight from 88 to 112 to 144. I'm going to demonstrate the scale by using my built-in metronome for my keyboard, set at 90. Ready, go. Now it says to repeat it an octave higher. I'll do that for you. Notice that my body moves with the motion of the notes a little bit. Because this is so much higher, I actually move my body over a little bit to be with it. Now, left hand at the same tempo. We're starting on this G down here. Ready, go. Now we're going to go an octave lower. So now that you can see what I do here, what I do is I go up by 5 at a time if you're going to be using a digital metronome like this, and do that until you reach the desired tempo, which will be about 140 or 145. Let me demonstrate 145. And again, what I said about this was it says 144. That will be a standard metronome. If you're using a digital metronome, it's just easier on you to go up by 5s. So let's listen to it at this tempo. Ready, go. Another thing I would recommend that's outside of this book is cut your tempo in half, whatever tempo you're doing. Let's say you were doing 140, you got it up to 140. Cut that in half, choose 70. Now I'm at 70. This doesn't mean 1 tick per note now. 2 notes per tick. This is the same as 140. What it'll do is it'll get you used to hearing those inside beats rather than using the metronome to play every single note that you're playing. Then there's the G major scale in contrary motion. So starting on the G, the second note out, just remember left hand will go to a black note, right hand will go to a white note. Let me demonstrate this. I'm going to demonstrate a little slower. Ready, go. And I'm not doing the repeat this time. Now on to the only actual piece in this unit, but we're going to be talking about key signature. This is the first piece in this unit that uses key signature. A key signature is a sharp or a flat, or a number of sharps or flats at the beginning of a piece. It'll always be between the clef and the time signature. It'll also show up at the beginning of every single line. Where the time signature does not, the key signature does. And a key signature can change within a piece. It's not going to at this level though. This minuet was written by Christian Petzold. If you've ever heard it in the past or maybe played a long time ago, you may have heard that it was written by Bach. Bach did not actually write this. We found this out not too many years ago, that many of the pieces in the Anna Magdalena notebook were not actually written by Bach himself. And I'll play it at a kind of standard minuet tempo, like about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, go. This piece would have originally been played on a harpsichord, or maybe a small harpsichord like a spinet or a virginal. The last part of the unit is the technique, bells on a G scale. So let's go over this. This uses the pedal, so you have to pay attention to where the pedal is pressed and where the pedal is released. Look at the brackets underneath the notes for this. As you see the bracket, you are obviously pushing the pedal, and where the bracket ends, you will stop pushing the pedal down. You'll release that pedal. Always try to keep your heel on the floor when using the pedal. Don't just pump the pedal like it's a gas pedal. One other thing, stems up, right hand, stems down, left hand. Little different to most of what you've played. 1, 2, ready, go. As usual, I don't go over the theory pages in this, but just know that the theory pages, you can't really do the ear training by yourself, and I can't really do the ear training with you because I can't tell you if you get the answers right or not. But what you can do is there are some online help websites out there for that. One would be musictheory.net. That's just one of many. It's one of my go-to websites for students to help them learn notes, ear training, and all sorts of different things. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and I'll hopefully have Unit 16 up in the next couple weeks. If you liked that video, please give me a like. If you have any comments, please leave them underneath. And if you want to see more videos, look to the ones over on the right of the screen right now and take a look at one of these or any of my other videos. And please subscribe if you want to see anything new when it comes up. Thanks a lot.